We can't slow down businesses or put our economy at risk with government shutdowns or fiscal showdowns. We can't put the security of families at risk by taking away their health insurance, or unraveling the new rules on Wall Street, or refighting past battles on immigration when we've got to fix a broken system. And if a bill comes to my desk that tries to do any of these things, I will veto it. It will have earned my veto.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so in other words, everything that the Republicans ran on in November and won historic landslides, he's going to veto if it comes to his desk. That's nice. Alan Keyes, former UN ambassador and three-time GOP presidential candidate, joins us. Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Well, what was your take on the whole fiasco last night?
I think it's rare that we have been had to endure from a president so many lies and misrepresentations, combined with such utter contempt for the express and voted will of the people, as we saw last night. And I think it's a sign of the times. We have crossed the line as far as a lot of these folks are concerned in the Obama faction, the Democrat Party, a lot of the leftists, Republicans who pretend to be otherwise. They're all believing that our republic is dead, and they can just their business now is to govern. It's not to represent. It's not to respond to the will of the people. It's just to do what they please with the power of government. And I think that's feeding Obama's dictatorial arrogance.
Yeah, well, you know, and I don't know if the Republicans have it in them to stop him. And for him to so cavalierly and casually, as I said, address almost 3 of the 4 key issues talked about in the campaign, voted on, as you said, by the people, and the expression of the people clearly heard in almost unprecedented numbers, and for him to dismiss it as, we can't take up old arguments about immigration or health care or the pipeline, or, I mean, come on, how do you dismiss it so readily?
Well, see, I think that he is counting on the fact that on those issues, what has been quite clear is that the president, I call them quisling leaders in the Congress, don't have any will to pursue them. They've gotten a mandate from the people based on their desire to stop Barack Obama from destroying our sovereignty, from further eroding and destroying the integrity and security of our borders, from further encouraging the kind of illegal immigration that has put such a burden on our economy and on our lives. The people expressed clearly, we want it stopped, and the sentiment was clear in the polls and at the polls. And yet, he's able to be arrogant like this because I think he knows that in this respect he has that leadership in his back pocket. They're not going to challenge him.
Let me ask you, when he mentioned and we have to fight the scourge of anti-Semitism, and we have to fight any acts against women and LGBT, and he named every one of those letters, he gave the full name, and then he praised Muslims, and we can't lump all Muslims together. But he never said Christians. He never said Al-Qaeda in his speech, but he never said Christians. He did not put Christians in those groups that we need to stand up for or defend or who are persecuted. Why is that, do you think?
Well, I think that's because it's quite evident that the agenda for Christians now in this country, as it is in many parts of the Islamic world, is persecution through the courts and the delegitimization of even the expression of views, such as firing the fire chief, where he had simply expressed his own feelings based on his religious views with respect to homosexual marriage, and professors being brought up on charges and kicked out of universities, even Catholic universities, because they weren't towing the line with respect to the elitist commitment now to the destruction of natural family rights and the natural family. So there again, I think he is counting on the arrogance of what is common ground among what I call the elitist faction, which include the Romneys and so forth of the world, as well as the Obamas. Plus the fact, think about this, in the very same speech, he dares to tout the reduction in abortions, right? As if he's going to take credit for this.
Right.
When he is the premier champion of the so-called right of abortion. And I often stop and think to myself, how can you speak as if abortion is a bad thing and you're glad it's reduced, and then tell me you have to defend this right to do something that apparently you admit is wrong. It doesn't make any sense, except that we have crossed the line again into the other aspect of what's going on, what I think of as gangster government. Gangsters are people who actually get self-righteous about their right to do wrong. So if you interfere with their criminal behavior, you have to be severely punished. And that's what we're seeing in this society.
Alan, we got 10 seconds. Who do you like in the presidential field or the prospective presidential field on the Republican side?
I reject this party system. And I think unless we get away from both these lying parties, the Republic is doomed.
Okay, we will pick up on that next time we talk, I promise. Alan Keyes, thank you very much, sir. Ken Cuccinelli is next, folks. Don't go away.